my opponents may say that doping affects the game, their health, and also that it's unfair, me and my teammates have said that you can't stop athletes from doping because the temptation to cheat is too much for someone to resist. Also, that athletes should be able to tell what the right amount of performance-enhancing drugs they should take. Another one is some sports are too hard and intense to win without the use of drugs. Our final argument is performance-enhancing drugs improve athletes physically, making sports more interesting to watch. One example from the article, "We can't stop doping in sports, so why not give up?" is in the early 1990s. A drug called EPO was looked upon as the silver bullet. It was capable of synthetically enriching your red blood cell count. As a result, creating a greater capacity for oxygen transference within the body. This is significant because EPO allows athletes to gain an advantage when they're in any sport, by being able to do things faster. According to the article, history now indicates in events like the Tour de France, the majority of riders were using EPO. The most logical conclusion we can draw from this evidence is that these drugs can help athletes go faster, and since they go faster, it makes sports more interesting to watch. And if all you care about is winning, then you should use performance-enhancing drugs.
My opponent may say that PEDs or doping can help a body recover from injuries, but I disagree. There are many other options that are better for your body and mind. One example from pain management without drugs states medication only serves for a temporary pain management, fast path, and healing through physical therapy has been clinically proven to stay healed for a long time or even the rest of your life. Plus, even yoga or water aerobics is a great way to help the body recover and get strength again, medically proven by PASPAT, MD, and PH. The most logical conclusion we can draw from this evidence is that there are many other options such as physical therapy, water aerobics, and yoga. So, therefore, you do not need drugs to recover. My opponent may say doping can increase income to players because they play well, but I disagree. Many of the wealthiest or even most famous and loved athletes in the world do not dope. Great players known in millions of homes, today, such as Michael Phelps, Olympic gold medal swimmer, Hall of Fame professional athletes Michael Jordan, Babe Ruth, and Joe Montana, never dope or in non-doping societies to prevent other players from doping. Also, they are unremarkably wealthy and famous. Who's wearing Jordans today? Nobody? Nothing Nike?
Oh yeah.
Enhanced by Michael Jordan, never doped. This is significant because though they never doped, and for if they did, they could have lost all the money and fame they possess today. Plus, spending money on drugs kind of defeats the purpose. All the money, therefore, you can be plenty wealthy without doping and maybe even be famous as well.
That athletes should dope because it's their body. My opponents say that athletes should dope because it's their body. They can recover from injuries, and there are a lot of temptation, and sports are too competitive to not dope. My debate partners and I have said that doping is affecting the game and the purpose of the game. For example, Lance Armstrong's doping took on a big role in topic because we didn't know he was doping for nearly 10 years, and it makes you think, who else was doing it? The players are also being affected because it isn't fair for the non-users to play with players that dope. Because the non-users are just trying to play fairly, but dopers are getting in the way of the players that don't dope. Their body is being destroyed by using performance-enhancing drugs. For instance, your psychological health can be affected, and many other problems that affect your body. And even the adults and children are being affected in this topic. Doping means an athlete is taking a drug to enhance their body, their athleticism, making them bigger, faster, and stronger. Professional athletes are the main people you see doping. They are just trying to be the best they can possibly be at their preferred sport. But many of them face the consequences of doing it by getting suspensions or even getting their achievements stripped by doping. Doping is contributing harshly to the young athletes as they are growing up in a culture where you see professional athletes getting suspensions and getting their achievements stripped for doping. But many people still do it, and that is a disturbing thing for the younger generation of athletes to grow up in. Professional players that are doping are having a strong influence on the young athletes. In the article, Athletes Age 12 on Drugs, Study Finds, the author states how athletes as young as 12 are using performance-enhancing drugs, and the practice may be unchecked because of a lack of drug testing. Also, according to J.R. Hoffman, in this study, approximately 20% of high school-age males and females suggested that professional athletes do influence their decision to use. In addition to that fact, young athletes everywhere are turning to performance-enhancing drugs, playing steroid roulette with their lives in hopes of making it into the big leagues. They're falling for the big lie that these drugs are safe and okay to use. This is significant because sports are starting to get competitive at the professional level, and now kids are wanting to be at the level their favorite professional players at. So they are trying to get a competitive edge to be as strong as they can possibly be. Also, young athletes are taking performance enhancers because they are seeing their favorite sports player on TV, in a newspaper, or even on social media convicted of taking performance enhancers, so they think in their mind that it's alright because they are doing it. Finally, I truly believe that sports should be all about competition. You should not even come across the idea of taking steroids, especially at a young age. Because sports isn't always about how good you perform, unless you're a professional athlete. And many people think that. Sports are about letting loose and having fun while being competitive. And that is why people need to start recognizing this issue and take action, because many people don't know how bad doping is right now and how bad doping can get later on.
My opponents may say that athletes will become addicted to a drug, negatively affecting them. But I disagree, because if an athlete wants to improve themselves, but they get addicted, they should have the right to choose to if they want to improve themselves, even if it's risky. Smoking is very deadly, but we still have the right to do it. Drinking can be dangerous, but we still have the ability to drink. Athletes should have the right to improve themselves, even if it's unhealthy. This is significant because even if the athlete gets addicted, they should have the right to improve themselves if they want. It should be a choice. Therefore, even though a few athletes may become addicted to a drug, they should have the right to improve themselves even if it's unhealthy and it's considered inappropriate by some people. My opponent also stated that if children see an athlete they look up to doping, they will think it's okay to dope. But I disagree. Athletes taking steroids really won't impact children. If a child dopes, it's from his or her own will. They won't do it to try and look like Barry Bonds. They'll be doing it because they want to improve an aspect of themselves they look at as negative. This supports my side because it tells that children don't take drugs because they aspire to be an athlete, therefore proving my point that it's okay for an athlete to dope. Even though some children will look up to an athlete, they won't dope based on the athlete's decisions. They will be doing it to improve themselves. My opponent stated 20% of young people think athletes impact them. But what about the other 80%?